Welcome to Soundbite, the podcast where we talk to interesting people in the Maritimes about their stories, specialties, and insights. I'm Caitlin Dutt, one of your co-hosts.
And I'm Tim Porter. All right, this is an exciting week, Caitlin. I've been waiting for this guest for quite some time.
All right.
I'm very excited. We have the great Joel Miller.
Very exciting.
With
Welcome.
us. Hi, Joel.
Hello, Tim. Hi, Caitlin.
Hi.
Joel is a saxophonist. Am I pronouncing that right?
Sure.
Am I?
Saxophonist, saxophonist, saxophone player, sax guy, sax player.
Actually, somebody put me up to saying it that way, just to get a reaction. So.
Oh, okay. I've never heard that term. I've heard saxophonist,
I didn't get
but
the reaction I anticipated.
He's too
from
polite.
Joel. Yeah. Maybe he's heard it before, but
It's
what
just
are they?
an emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Right. Yeah. So the one thing I know about Joel. Well, I'll get to it. So
Okay.
why don't you give us a little intro so people know who Joel is?
For sure. So Joel Miller is an award-winning saxophonist and composer based in Fredericton. He's raised in a musical family. He studied jazz performance at McGill University and has performed with notable artists including Jeffrey Keyser, Brian Blade, and Kurt Rosenwinkel. You've won a Juno Award plus a couple of ECMA awards, and you're kind of a big deal in the jazz world in New Brunswick, I'd say.
He's spellbound by your intro.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was going to say, one thing I know about Joel is that he was a bit of a child prodigy. You've been doing this for since you were born, Joel. Like, what were you born with a saxophone?
Very young. Yeah. Well, I'm from here. I'm from New Brunswick, from Sackville, New Brunswick.
Yes.
And I did start music at quite an early age. I started playing saxophone at age 10, but before age 10, I was doing some kinds of music, banging on logs in the woods and making my own instruments and things like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I have been doing, but basically, yes, since age 10, that's when my brother
and your parents
handed me.
were musicians? Or?
So my dad is a composer.
Mm-hmm.
He taught at Mount Allison University. That's kind of how I came into the world.
Cool.
He was brought in to teach composition and theory at Mount Allison, and my mom, she was really into jazz and dance, poetry. I think I got a lot of my music from my mom. One might assume that it comes from my dad, and that he forced me to practice piano and all those classic sort of things you imagine parents getting their kids to do.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really my mom that I feel that I got definitely the passion for jazz from, but also just the passion for music and dance.
So your dad was more of like a classical composer on that side, and your mom was more jazz. Is that correct? Okay,
yeah,
nice.
Yeah, pretty much. So
because they are quite different if you look at like the compositions and everything, like jazz, like the time changes and all that sort of stuff, and classical. I mean, I also grew up playing piano.
Oh yeah, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
But it's much more like perceived as like a more of a strict type of instrument, where saxophone and jazz, it's kind of more fluid. Yeah.
My dad is a composer though, and he really stressed creativity. And so it's really both of them when it comes to creating, because my dad would always say, well, when you do jazz, why is everybody kind of doing the same thing? Like, why is everybody doing it the same way? So there's conservatism, I guess you could say, in jazz and in classical.
Okay.
And my dad was very much into doing things your own way, and right from the very beginning. But in terms of like his training, it's classical, and like he studied counterpoint and all the in terms of arranging and composition, it's classical, and the whole idea of jazz and just the rhythm of jazz was very foreign to him.
So when was kind of the point where you decided, like, I really want to be a saxophone player?
In Sackville, there was the Mount Allison Music Camp that happened every summer, and Mom was getting all her boys signed up. So it's myself and my older brothers signed up to go to music camp, and I was the baby of the bunch. So all I remember is that there was a lot of talk, and I wasn't paying attention because I was a very much tête en ciel kid that just, I don't really remember much. I don't know what I was doing, but all of a sudden I noticed that the focus was on me. And what about you, Joel? And I didn't know what they were talking about. And they said, what instrument are you going to play at music camp? Because we need to sign up. And I didn't know. I don't know. And then so my oldest brother, Andrew, who plays the bass, he's here in New Brunswick. He plays for Symphony New Brunswick, and he has his own ensemble, etc. We'll talk about him later. But my oldest brother, Andrew, said, well, why don't you play the saxophone? You know, the instrument that Zoot plays on the Muppets. And I was like, oh, okay, that looks kind of cool. And so that's how so it started. So next thing you know, I'm at music camp, and there's a whole room of kids that are mostly my age, all with saxophones that were from the university. Like they had, I was able to have a saxophone to play, and they were like, okay, so this is how you get a sound, and boom. So I mean, the minute that I got a sound out of it, it was like, oh, that's not that hard. I can get a sound of this. So that's kind of how I started, just on the saxophone.
Nice.
Now,
yeah. And how old were you then?
So I was 10.
Nice.
But in terms of like, you know, did I choose to play the saxophone? I guess it was from that moment. But really where I went from that was that I went back to my brother and I said, this doesn't sound like Zoot. Like I thought it would be like, because what I heard with the saxophone was Billy Haley and the Comets. I remember we had a record of and I heard some jazz from my mom, but I didn't really. It was sort of, that's old people music. I don't know, like the stuff that my friends were listening to were Rush, the Police, and like rock bands, and so I wanted to have that cool rock sound. And Billy Haley and the Comets was the first sort of thing that I could picture. And so I didn't like gravitate towards right away, but there was some students that I met, and they were like, oh, you just have to just do this, and they made the sound by growling. You actually sing while you play.
Yeah, because it's a reed instrument, right? You've got
Maybe I could give a little demonstration later or whatever. But as soon as I realized that it's like, oh, you can get that grunty sound out of it, like that sounds like a rock saxophone. Oh, okay, well, if I can do that, then maybe I can hang out with my brothers and jam with them,
right?
Or jam with my friends, because they were all my friends were wanting to get into playing rock music. So either drums or electric guitar, electric bass, or.
And you were able to make the saxophone kind of a rock instrument with the way you played it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah.
I discovered that, and then it's sort of like that was part of it, but the other part was that back to my brother when I went to him and said, you know, it doesn't sound like Zoot. He said, well, you have to get into listen to jazz. And I'm like, well, what are you talking about? Well, you know, jazz is kind of music. And I knew my mother had all these records, but I didn't really want like I heard most of those, and a lot of that she was really into early jazz. And a friend of mine said, well, just listen to Gilles Archambault, Jazz sur le Luc on Radio Canada. It's every night. I think it was, I can't remember if it was at midnight or 11 o'clock, but it was late at night, and I was a kid. So I had to stay up to listen to this music. And I loved everything about that show. And I actually met Gilles Archambault like a night, and he was selling his record collection. I wish I just got all of it, but I really got into jazz and the way he spoke, like it was in French, but it was c'est très lentement. Maintenant, c'est une étiquette blue note. And I understood French because he spoke so slow, because I guess he was trying to sound like cool and like smoky or whatever. And so I kind of picked up a lot of French from that show too.
We got music, French.
Yeah.
You're learning so much.
So that's really how I got jazz, and then it was like most of the stuff that he played had saxophone players, John Coltrane, Dexter Gordon, Cannonball Adderley. It's just the thing that's so fun about jazz is when you listen to one thing, you listen to one recording, like, okay, Miles Davis Kind of Blue, and you hear that record, and it's like, oh, it's such a nice sound, I love this, and then it's like, well, who's the piano player on it? Oh, Wynton Kelly.
Right. Yeah.
Well, and then you just go, like now, of course, Google, you can look up Wynton Kelly. There's tons of things that Wynton Kelly's played on and everything. And then, oh, well, Bill Evans plays on the record too. Oh, and then you look up Bill Evans. So much stuff that Bill Evans done, or Ray Brown, but it was funny because I listened to that show, Jazz sur le Luc, and it was too late at night for me to stay awake for all that. So I recorded it on cassettes, and then the next day I listened to the recording. And when he spoke, a lot of times, at first I would just stop his voice because I just wanted to get to the music. Mm-hmm. But eventually I would fall asleep. And then, but
that's what we'd have to do, Caitlin, back in the day. Like if you wanted to listen to Brave New Waves on the CC,
Brave New Waves, so good.
You get some new music, playing, and it would be from midnight on. So you just have to hit the tape machine and let it record, and then listen to it in the morning. And figure out what you missed while you were asleep. Yeah.
Patty Schmidt. That was on, I think, around the same time. And a lot of my friends were listening to Brave the Waves, and I would listen to that. And on the weekends they would have Jazz sur le Vif, which was live stuff. Yeah. And I remember when I was moved to Montreal. I don't know. We'll get to my whole life story, but mostly being in Montreal. But I remember doing recordings for Jazz sur le Vif. What? I get to play on that show. Oh my God.
Right.
Yeah, what a moment.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, so to answer your question, it was really when I started to listen to jazz and hear the saxophone that I sort of became aware of what it was capable of doing and that I liked it. Then I would do that on my saxophone, and then that's when I decided, okay, well, this is my thing.
So that all built up, and so your formative years, you took it from Sackville to Montreal to McGill. Did it kind of just transition like that, or was there's more transition there? Or?
Well, I played in a lot of bands when growing up. So I had a home studio in my parents' basement, and I recorded all kinds of stuff. I had my own band. We had Johnny the Baptist, who's a punk band. I had my own sort of punk band. It was called Maritime Pride. We were talking about SNFU. One of those bands opened for SNFU in Sackville. Anyway, so like punk bands, but I also played in a rock band that was like a outfit that did like rock stuff for all the rock shows in the summer. And it was called the Ray Oliver Band. So like I played Life in the Fast Lane and stuff like that on the saxophone, and Leonard Skinner and all that stuff. It's still probably popular now.
Yes.
and then like during the winter, mostly we do became a country band and do all the like play at the Legion and do all the like functions at the curling club and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So did that band. There was sort of like a professional thing, and then I would try to do some jazz things, but it was hard to find people to play with here. But I was studying, so I was going down to Halifax to study with Don Palmer, and he really kind of really pushed me to pursue this and seriously. So one of his students before me was Mike Murley, of course, and people know him from the Shuffle Demons, but he's also a player.
Right.
So basically there was some kind of transition of going to Montreal, but when I got to Montreal, I just left all my Sackville and New Brunswick stuff, and it was, I was first year of university, and I still didn't really know how to read, like sight read, and there was a lot of things that were quite difficult for me getting into like first year of university and all that. But
because some musicians, like, they do learn just from like sound and like sounding or like hearing the sound and then like playing it.
By ear.
Were you like one of those people?
I mostly like I learned a lot of stuff, a lot of solos from records. So in jazz, you call it transcribing. So, well, I guess you can transcribe an interview, right? Where you hear an interview. I'm curious about the word transcribe, but anyway, in the jazz world, you say like, or you're going to lift a solo or transcribe. It's the same thing. You basically learn a solo note for note from the record, or like orally. Of course, now people cheat and slow the tape down, and you can also just go online and find stuff now. But anyway, so I was like educated in that way, but in terms of being able to sight read in a big band, like because at McGill, it was very competitive. There was 3 big bands. And there's Big Band 1. Oh my God, they're scary. Like the trumpets, they're just like everybody's just. It's like that movie Whiplash. Did you see that?
Yeah.
And then Big Band 2.
It's really intense.
And Big Band 3. Yeah, really intense. And so, I worked my way like it was in Big Band 3, and that was fine. I was, the whole big band thing I was not super into right away, but. Anyway, but when I started to figure out how to sight read, it really helped me with that a lot. But,
Do you find that, we have had the Harvest Jazz and Blues Festival. Now it's just called the Harvest Festival. But do you think that there was like a strong foundation in New Brunswick? I know you grew up in Sackville, so not Fredericton. But do you think there was a strong foundation of jazz music in New Brunswick? Or
so there is a strong foundation in Moncton.
Okay.
Yeah, so Moncton, growing up, so one of the people that I heard growing up that besides Don Palmer, so Don Palmer he's from Cape Breton, lived in Halifax, but he lived in New York and then went back to the Maritimes. So that's Nova Scotia, okay, whatever. It's still the Maritimes, but in New Brunswick, growing up, there was Charlie Gauguin on drums, Marty Melanson on bass, and Boogie Godet was a saxophone player that I heard, and he was amazing. Like he's just, and of course Roland Bourgeois on trumpet, and Jamie Colpitts on guitar. All the musicians that I heard of that were from New Brunswick growing up were Moncton based.
Okay.
I didn't know anybody that played in Fredericton.
Right.
And that's we're talking about the 80s, like the 1980s. That was my so yeah, and that reputation continues today. If you talk to the jazz world in Canada, everybody says, if you, it's like, oh, there's players out in Vancouver, you could play with you could play with this person. Oh, Toronto, you could play with this person. New Brunswick, who can you play with? Those are the names that people still say. And and it's because of Claude Ranger, who's a legendary drummer in Roland Bourgeois. Played with him, yeah, and that's all I can really think of. And then, but nowadays, like people are like, when I left Montreal, I mean, we haven't even got to my whole story about coming back here. But now it's like, oh, Joel, you're out in, where are you? You're in Halifax, right? That's basically like the opinion of rest of Canada when it comes to jazz. And
right,
like,
right.
Oh, you're in Halifax. There's lots of players out in Halifax.
So tell us about establishing yourself in New Brunswick when you came back then, just before we go on the radio break.
Okay. Well, okay. So when I came back here, I was, first of all, like, things were not good. Divorce. Well, my mother died, and then there was divorce, and then the pandemic. So I'm back here, and I was just like, well, I'm pretty much prepared to not do music anymore. I mean, It's just, I mean, that's what it was like during the pandemic. I wasn't attracted to doing any of this stuff online like this. I don't know. This is fun talking. I don't normally talk. My language is Anglo-saxophone.
Right.
So anyway, I appreciate talking to me, and I hope I'm coherent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, coming back here, yes, it's completely different than when I grew up. Like, it's a different world. Plus, I don't really have any connection with Sackville where I grew up anymore. So I came back here, and I kind of lived out in the woods for a while because I thought that would be really nice, and quickly realized that was extremely boring. I mean, I had my saxophone, and I really got into playing, but I didn't have many people to play with. But I found Don Bossy, and he was playing at the Muse, Tipsy Muse.
Yep. Don, of course, was a FHS music teacher for many years, retired.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I got in touch with him, and he was like, "Oh yeah, come on down, bring your horn." And okay, and that's how I met Jason Flores, the bass player, and we quickly hit it off, and like it just felt really good. And then Jason's like, well. Quickly, soon after that, he said, well, actually, it was my partner, Mel McCarthy, and she was like, you should play with Jen Russell, and she's happens to be the health minister at the time, but she also plays the music, and so, wow, that was really interesting. Right after she said that, Jason gave me a call, and he said, I've got this gig with Jen Russell up in Lamech somewhere. It was at a church or something. And so got up there in some church, and it was her band. And we were playing a blues or something, and it just, the drummer Andrew DeMerchant was playing, and he was just like, yeah, Joel, go. And everybody in the band was just kind of like, okay, it's solo time, and I just started soloing, and it was like that again, that fun where we can just really let it rip.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And
this is like a year or so after 2020, or back when we were.
It was when, like, the ends of COVID time. I don't know. It just took so long to end. It was so many different. It was a blur, yeah. But that really kind of got me playing, and feeling good about playing with other musicians and playing live, and I just got to meet people, and everybody was. I mean, people here are just so much more genuine, and it was very heartwarming. Like I felt like I was home again. I was with friends, and they play music, and so yeah, that really kind of got me back in a sense.
Nice.
So
That's
we've been
awesome.
talking to Joel Miller, and we're going to take a radio break, but Joel's going to get into his new album, What If. He wants to talk about that, and he's got some upcoming shows and all kinds of good stuff we're going to get into here in the next segments. And I believe you're going to honor us with maybe some playing.
Sure, I'll
Right?
bring out the Martin.
Are you going to play something for us?
Definitely.
What is this, something off your new recording? Or
I have no idea what I'm going to play.
Okay.
It's part of jazz. You got to improvise.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Well, we look forward to that.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
if you're listening to the podcast, we'll be back in a moment. Okay, we're back with Joel Miller, noted saxophonist.
Yes. Welcome back, Joel. Excited
hi.
to hear more.
So,
Thanks.
Joel, you were talking a little bit about your formative years, and we were kind of skimming across Montreal,
Yeah.
and you were talking about, your various big bands there. Did you excel at McGill? Did you do well?
Yeah, I did. I did pretty well at McGill. I mean, it took me a while to. I took my time with it, but going to Banff Center of the Arts, they had a jazz workshop there, and that really kind of pushed me to continue. There was a point where I think it was around the end of the first year where I was just I can't do this. I'm going to quit McGill. It's too much. But eventually, I kind of I got back on my feet and got the confidence and to continue with it. So yeah, I did well there, but I was glad to be done too.
Yeah. But you stayed in Montreal and you made a career?
Yeah. Well, I met my who was to become my wife at the time, Christine Jensen there, and we just formed bands together, and I was basically just living the life of working as a freelance musician, so playing in a lot of different bands that were very inspiring and very, very generative for my composing, and then also forming my own bands with my peeps, and then becoming part of other people's projects and bands,
Right.
touring, and one of the bands that I first played in was Tuco Boozy, and it was a Haitian band. They played kumpa, and with that band, we went to Germany, Boston, where else? Belgium. We toured, and then I went played in a hotel in Tokyo in Japan for 3 months, and then saved up enough money to do my first record, and then I did that record some musicians that I was playing with in Montreal, and then that band, like, we performed at the Montreal Jazz Festival, and then we won the Du Maurier Prize. It was like where they have like all the different bands from the regions of Canada, or provinces or regions, compete. So yeah, I guess I was representing New Brunswick.
You were competing for cartons of cigarettes, I assume?
I wish. No, I was.
No, the Du Maurier Prize. I just figured.
They were a major sponsor at the time.
Yeah, so you started putting out product, and I guess it was CDs back in those days, and
yep.
I was telling Joel by text I was searching my CD collection this morning when it was still dark out, trying to find my Joel Miller CDs, and I know I have them, but I just don't have them organized properly. So
that's okay.
I know he's put out. I've got 2 of them. I think he's put out maybe 5 of them. Or 6.
This is going to be the 11th.
Oh, well, different products. Yeah, you have a lot of digital files now, I think, out, and
this will be my first completely digital release. But the other ones, there's 10.
Oh, okay. So either CDs or records or whatever. We do have one of his records here.
Unstoppable.
Yeah. And what year did you put that out?
So this was 2017, 2018.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It's kind of an ironic album because it's called Unstoppable, and this was a massive project. Look how many musicians I hired. There was over 15 musicians that I mobilized to do this Unstoppable music, and it was nominated for a Juno Award, and then on the bus to the Junos, I got the call that the Junos are canceled because of a virus.
Oh, yeah.
Shoot.
So Unstoppable became Grounded.
They didn't award any that year? Did they award Junos?
They did eventually, yeah.
Eventually, yeah.
They won an ECMA.
But you won.
Nice.
You did win a Juno, and
yes.
And Caitlin wanted to hear that story, right?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So tell us the Juno story.
Yeah. So I put together a record. It's neat that record won the Juno out of all the records that I've worked on.
Right.
So that record really, I started with nothing. Basically, it started with a phone call to a piano player, Jeffrey Keyser, who I played with and I heard, and he's a total whiz, brilliant piano player that can just read anything and turn it and bring in the magic. So I called him and said I wanted to record, and he said, when? So I didn't have any money at the time, but I just said okay, and so I just searched for enough money just to get the session going and everything, and eventually I got Factor money to put this record together. So it was called Swim. So the thing about this record that sets it apart from the other ones is that so when I go into the recording studio, I'm like a kid in a candy store. Oh my God, I could use that organ over there. Oh, what about these effects? Oh, I could use that. And for this particular record, I didn't do anything. I just had an acoustic pianist who's a brilliant piano player. I had Greg Ritchie, who lives in Halifax right now. He's got the fire. And then I had Fraser Hollins, who knew all of my music from so many different bands. He basically had all my book memorized, and then myself on saxophones, and so it was just acoustic. Went into the studio and we recorded as much stuff that I could do that had piano as part of the and that was a lot of music. We probably recorded almost 20 songs or something like in the space of 2 days, and Jeffrey Keys, I mean, he's like a machine. He just goes. So, in terms of the Junos, what I credit this friend of mine, Randy Cole. He's a friend of mine that he was really involved with film, and he has his own YouTube channel, and what he does is he does stories about jazz musicians and what they're up to, and so we did some films together, and he was really interested in getting to the essence of stuff, because he noticed that this whole kid in the candy store thing of mine doesn't really help when it comes to putting out records, because it's all over the place. It's very eclectic, and I go all these different directions. And so he really helped me kind of get to the essence of what I'm trying to say with this album. And all those songs eventually became 10 or something like that. And so editing. That's pretty much it. Like I submitted it like all the others stuff, and it got nominated for the Junos, and then sure enough won.
How did you feel when you got the call that you were nominated for a Juno?
Really good. Yeah. I mean, it was very affirming, because I had been nominated for lots of things, and I've been working on I had been working on it for a long time up until then. Part of me was sort of like, what, this record? I mean, after all the stuff that I did a jazz opera, I did all these humongous projects.
And what number of album was that at that time?
Like 6 or 7 or something.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it felt really good to just get that recognition, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of instruments, you were saying when you came in that you've been playing one saxophone your whole life, but now you've switched.
A new one.
And today, when we hear Joel play, he's got a new saxophone. So tell us a little bit about your instrument.
Yeah, well, this particular saxophone, it's kind of fun because it's a restored. I found it at a friend's basement, and I bought it off her, and then I took it to Ken Fornitran, who's a brilliant musician and repairman in Kensington, PEI. And he's known all across Canada.
Cool.
If you talk to well, especially saxophone players, go see Ken Fornitran. So I took it to him, and he's restored this instrument that was all tattered and torn and everything, and now it's a beautiful thing. So it's a Martin, which is an American. When it comes to jazz and saxophones, Selmer saxophones are kind of the gold standard, I guess you could say. That's what I played on all my life is a Selmer Mark VI. Those are the very sought after saxophones. And this is not a Selmer; it's a Martin, which comes from the United States, and it's from the year probably 1949 or 1950. Wow. Which is a bit later. Like with that's the great thing about saxophones is they don't depreciate. I mean, you can keep tinkering with them, and then you can keep them. So that's what I'm playing on with the past. This is day 5 of my new life with this Martin, and I really like it.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Have you done any performances with it yet?
Played last night. Yeah.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah. It takes a bit more horsepower than I thought, just to kind of play it all night, and that's the real test, is just staying on one horn. And we play just trio at Wilser, so it's me, John Bailey on drums, Jason Flores on bass. There's no chord instrument, so I'm doing the harmony, I'm doing as much stuff, and Jason too. I mean, he's filling in. Both of us are kind of making up for a guitar or a piano instrument,
right,
in our own playing. So it's a real test for the stamina.
So there's different kinds of saxophones. Like if you're starting out, like is it like you start on a tenor, or what? What do people start out on? Or
you can start out. They're all the same pretty much. Right. I mean, most people start on alto because they're smaller and they don't take as much wind. They don't take as much air to fill.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your new album, then, should we? Yeah.
Most def.
So tell us about the inspiration for this album then, because you said that you had been playing with Symphony New Brunswick beforehand as well.
Yeah, so it's really the idea that what if these different, seemingly juxtaposed things could be together. So in this particular instance, it's classical and jazz. What if it's not a versus situation? What if it's just that and this and that?
Nice.
So that's really the inspiration for the whole album and all that music.
Yeah. And so, I mean, it's been quite a while since you've had an album come out. Was it hard getting back into like the creation of an album?
Yeah. Well, it took quite a while to get the funds together. And I mean, Unstoppable was such a large project, and well, the other thing is that people just aren't buying CDs anymore. So it's a very different thing. So I knew that I wanted to make an entirely digital release, and I knew that I didn't want to do vinyl because it's just vinyl. It's just really expensive.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So we were just talking about the Unstoppable album. What's different from this album and your new album?
What's if the album?
What if? So What If is very different from my other albums in that first of all, there's no drums. Like there's no, it's not so much a jazz album. It's a real marriage of the classical or contemporary classical world of my brothers. So his group, it's called Resonance, and me and my saxophone, and Silvio Pupo on piano. So it's my original music, but it's done in a sort of classical setting in a sense. So
when is the release date for your new album? And
October 17th is coming up soon.
Nice. So right after Thanksgiving.
So yeah, I'm just looking at your press release, and you're saying that your compositions are reimagining works of Debussy and Chopin.
Yeah, there's classical pieces that that I just took and did jazz to.
Nice.
That I just did in my own personal way.
Well, we'll look forward to listening to that on October 17th. And where do we get your product? Like I saw when I clicked through on your website, which is joelmillermusic.com. joelmillermusic.com. But where is the best place to kind of listen to Joel Miller?
It'll be on Bandcamp soon, but it's on all the platforms, on Spotify, iTunes, and it's entirely a digital release.
Right. Okay.
And you're going to be doing a tour as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. So the same group that's on the record. So it's myself on saxophones, my brother Andrew on bass, Danny Sametz, who is the principal violinist of the Symphony New Brunswick, Joël Cormier, also percussionist from the Symphony New Brunswick. I did a concert with Symphony New Brunswick, by the way, and that's a lot of the inspiration for this record.
Okay.
And then Silvio, who's born in Cuba, and he plays jazz. So he's known for playing at the local in Halifax. He's been playing there for a long time, and so he really brings in the fire. And kind of like Greg Ritchie on Swim.
So he's going to be in St. John.
Yes.
October 15th. November 14th, he's in St. John. November 15th, he's in Charlottetown. November 16th in Sackville. November 26th in Moncton. And then back to Fredericton, November 28th. So check his website out. And he has a a bunch of listings there and ways to buy tickets and that sort of thing.
So that's great. Really excited to hear it.
One thing I wanted to ask Joel though is, so tell us about your Spotify. You said you got a Spotify over there. Like what's in your top 10 of your Spotify?
I have no idea.
You got your phone right there. You got your phone right there. Let's look at it, Joel. What's in your Spotify? Tell us.
I don't listen to Spotify actually.
Well, what do you listen to?
iTunes.
Okay. Well,
and there's a reason for that because
give us what Joel Miller listens to.
Because iTunes, there was a while when artists could actually get money from their art, and iTunes was a place where you could still do that. But I don't think it is anymore anyway.
Right. Was it back when you could buy the $1.29?
Download them and
yes, I do remember.
I don't know whatever happened to all my downloads.
I know. I wonder that too. I spent so much money on just single songs. I'm just like,
you don't own them, right?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so my top 10 soundbite. Because I was listening to podcasts.
How nice.
So in terms of what I'm listening to these days, which is if we go to, I'm just looking at my, here we go, top played, recently played. Oh yeah, so I listened to, As It Was, Harry Styles.
Right.
Nice.
It's, and let me see now. Oh, the Philharmonic, Stravinsky, The Rite of Spring. Let me see. I listened to a lot of Latin music, cool. Because that was what I did. A lot of in Montreal was playing in Cuban bands, Colombian bands. So I listened to that's what I've been listening to lately is Yuli Buenaventura. He's a fantastic. He has an incredible band. Toys in the Attic, Aerosmith.
There you go.
Alan Perez, Donna Lee. Alan Jeffries, Coffee Till Midnight. Bright, Mississippi, Alan Toussaint. It was David Miles that hit me to that because I was hanging out with him. It's so good. Alan Toussaint,
right?
He's a jazz pianist.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I have André Leroux's album. He won the Juno last year, and another saxophone player. Oh, Stoneflower, Antonio Carlos Jobim. Have you listened to that record? So good. Oh man. Oh, and that's what you're listening to. Okay, I heard you talking about Surf's Up with Rob. And I wanted to talk to Rob about that for a long time. I think we have, but both of us are serious fans of that Beach Boys song, in particular, Surf's Up. Yeah, and I've got that on here. Look at that, Surf's Up.
Beach Boys is pretty good.
So there you go. Stravinsky, Paranoid, Black Sabbath, because I was doing a version of that.
Sure.
Bob Willis
gotta have that.
And the Texas Playboys, Bruce Coburn. Oh, Bruce Coburn, so good. Bruce Coburn's amazing.
I was listening
he's incredible.
To what's it called? Dancing with the Dragon.
Oh, yeah.
I was listening to that
Brilliant.
yesterday. It might still be on my turntable, actually.
This is one you probably never have heard of. The Clark Sisters singing Amazing Grace.
Right.
Their version of Amazing Grace is amazing.
Okay.
Amazing. Okay, anyway. That's just a little
Thank you for
peek
giving us a
into
little...
my. That's what you're looking for, right? This is like what's in my.
All right, so
actually, I do have one more question before we get into our ads. So, if someone was to listen to all 11 or 12 now of your albums.
Yep.
If someone was to listen to all of your albums, where would they start? Like, where would be a good entry point for them to get into the repertoire of Joel Miller?
The latest. It's always the latest.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, maybe somebody else would have a different answer, but for me, I'm always the latest one is where it's at.
Nice. So you're always improving. You're always.
Oh yeah. I mean, and there's pieces. So on What If, the new album, I go back to music that I wrote in 2014. So it's all there. But I mean, I was really, every album that I do, I try to make things more and more accessible, with the exception of Unstoppable, I guess. But I mean, that's what I like about Swim. You were talking about the one that won the Juno Award. That's what I like about that, is that it really gets things down. It gets to a point. It gets to when the whole album sounds like the same thing. Like it's all one consistent thing. So with What If, I was really just getting to the essence of the songs and like simplifying them more, just because in jazz there's this real push to I don't want to say complicate things, but to add more, just keep cramming more stuff in there, and it's like wow all the time, and that gets exhausting, I find. So that's what I was after with What If. This latest record was just letting the songs breathe, just letting them have more space where you can just put it on and you listen to it and like, oh, right, that. And there's time to digest digest the music in a sense.
All right, so our friends at the MRTI agency have some shows coming up. Kaylin, can you...
Yeah, I'm going to give you all the rundown.
Okay.
But, okay, so as part of the fall series, there will be a show, Quote the Raven, on Wednesday, October 22nd at the Charlotte Street Arts Center. So this is award-winning Newfoundland duo Quote the Raven, Jordan Coker and Kirsten Rodden-Clark, bringing a decade of tight harmonies and world-class songwriting to Fredericton. Their unique blend of East Coast storytelling and Americana mood has won them widespread acclaim, including 3 Newfoundland Group of the Year awards and an ECMA for Contemporary Roots Album of the Year.
Okay.
So October 22nd, Charlotte Street Arts Center.
Thank you, Kaylin. We've had a few name drops here. Joel talked about Jen Russell, who's been on and played some saxophone.
I say in a year from now, we should have both Joel and Jen back on to do a duet.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
And we'll have Bob Marzero sitting here critiquing them.
Yes.
You know Bob? He used to be with the CBC. He was entertainment reporter for many years and would go to the ECMAs. And
cool.
He's written a few books. We did a podcast with him a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
So
yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah.
So Bob's a bit of a critic. So.
Yeah.
Although,
I don't know. He did write a couple books that were like the top 10 singles of Canada and the top 10 albums of Canada.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you find you're up like early in the morning, Joel, you can text me and we'll get Rob over to the office. And
that would be nice.
And we'll between the hours of about 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. there's nobody at the office.
Yes.
So you can really blast the Aerosmith, which I've been known to do.
That's how you wake up in the morning.
Yes. And
Walk This Way.
Yeah.
The drums on that
good.
Killing.
So your invitation is open, Joel. One thing Rob did drop by my office the other day was the new Hello Crows album. Have you heard that one? It's actually quite good.
I really want to hear the new record. I haven't heard it.
Yeah, no, I've got it in my office, so there you go. Another incentive to come by.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, we've been talking to Joel Miller. Thanks, Joel, for giving us a chance to hear your stories.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Caitlin.
Thank you.
So nice to be here.
Yeah, thanks, Joel. Thank you for listening to Soundbite, a production of Porter O'Brien and CHSR 97.9 FM. Special thanks to our podcast host, CHSR, our sound editor, March Rojas Velasquez, as well as Adam Porter, who provided our theme music. You can find all our episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube Music under Soundbite. You can also follow and support us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn at Soundbite Podcast.